Hey everybody, KC here. Hope you had a good holiday weekend. Glad to be back. So a story from a couple of weeks ago has sort of been eating at me. But the confluence of two events makes me think that maybe this is the best time to talk about it. Event number one, just coming out of Labor Day weekend. Event number two, there's a new CEO at Whole Foods, Jason Bushell. And the story was about how the outgoing CEO and co-founder of Whole Foods, John Mackey, gave an interview in which he said that young people, and I want to make sure I get the quote right, younger people don't seem like they want to work, partly because they want meaningful jobs. Quote, "You can't expect to start with meaningful work," he said. "You're going to have to earn it." So this bothers me on a number of levels. First of all, really a remarkable statement from somebody who has basically grown a company that is a purpose-driven company. You wouldn't think somebody like that would say something like that. Second of all, here's the deal. Pretty much everybody wants their work to have meaning, the same way everybody wants their life to have meaning. It's a basic part of being human. And if you want your life to have some meaning, well, work can be a big part of that. Now, Mackey seems to be conflating young people's desire to be choosy and their desire to do meaningful work as the same thing as being unwilling to work. And I just think this is basically false. I don't think they're the same thing. I think they've decided that the old construct being, hey, listen, nose to the grindstone, do as you're told, don't expect to do meaningful work until the boss decides it's time. I just think that doesn't fit with the way they want to live their lives and the way they want to pursue their careers. And at the moment, we happen to be living in a kind of a labor-friendly seller's market, right? So they can afford to be choosy because the availability of jobs is out there. The unemployment level is historically low. Jobs are there. They can be choosy. And frankly, good for them. I think it's terrific that they have those choices. I'm not sure that the old construct was good for anybody who wasn't in the C-suite. I actually think that part of being a CEO these days is understanding how the world has changed, understanding how the market has changed, and understanding younger generations' desire to do meaningful work, and then leading them in a way that has them understand what is meaningful about their jobs. It's part of creating, a culture of caring, an organization that is nurturing. And from my point of view, not understanding this, well, that's kind of managerial malpractice. I won't even call it leadership malpractice because it isn't leadership at all. Earlier this year, I did interviews with Vivek Sankaran, CEO of Albertsons, and Indra Nooyi, the former CEO of PepsiCo. And in those interviews, they talked about their first jobs out of business school. And they were basically low-level salespeople. And they talked about the meaning they discovered in their work because they were sort of able to connect to the broader ecosystem of the people they were serving and the people that those people were serving. And there was meaning in that. And that, and that gave them a greater sense of purpose in their jobs. Now, if you missed those interviews, just email me and I'd be happy to send you the links. Now, not everybody is like these two exceptional leaders, okay? But I'd be willing to bet that at Albertsons, where he's still CEO, Vivek Sankaran goes to work every day, understanding that everybody in the company will be better off if they feel like they're doing meaningful work, and that Albertsons would be better off if everybody feels like they're doing meaningful work. He understands that's part of his role as CEO, and that would be my bet. Now listen, this can't happen all the time. It's not going to happen with every job. It's not going to happen with every employee. But it isn't all or nothing at all. It has to be a goal. And I firmly believe that effective leaders in 2022 and beyond have to work to pursue it. Now, interestingly, in a note that he sent to Whole Foods team members just last week, the new CEO, Jason Bushell, one of the things he wrote a lot about was, and I quote, "The remarkable group of team members that we have, bound not only by our love of food, but our dedication to our purpose and core values. This connection will allow us to chart a future that will be just as profound as our legacy. I want you to know that I am dedicated to nurturing the best and most inclusive team member experience possible and fostering a store-centric culture. What he didn't say was, well, some of you may not feel like you're doing meaningful work. If so, get over it. You have to earn that privilege. He didn't say that. Now, basically, I think what's happening here is John Mackey is painting with way too broad a brush. And maybe he's doing that because he's on the way out of a company that he helped to found and that he grew. And maybe he's only doing it because he's on his way out. But it remains, I think, a dangerous attitude in any kind of organization. And it's always a mistake to paint with too broad a brush. Just as it would be a mistake for me to sit here and say, well, as he leaves Whole Foods, John Mackey is a rich but maybe a bitter old man who realizes that, his company was in deep trouble and he had to sell it to Amazon to assure its survival. And that in the long run, maybe his legacy is not going to be what he thought it was going to be. That would be painting with a broad brush, and it would be a mistake for me to do it. Hey, listen, here's the deal. You want to do meaningful work. I want to do meaningful work. And I think it's incumbent on every leader in every organization to help the people they lead to find the meaning in their work. It's to help them understand the broader meaning of and the greater purpose of the company, to create a culture of caring that nurtures people's aspirations, not tells them to just wait until they get older and more experienced to work towards them. That's what I think. That's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.